All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 106. We got the Wanderer, and Big Ern is finally back in the building from his little vacation / hiatus.
The gang is back.
That's right. Guys, so not a bunch of stuff to talk about today, but I gotta tell you, the Knicks suck. Like, I watched that entire game on Saturday until the last 3 minutes of the game where they were just getting blown out, and I'm like,
well, you got to talk about the fact that they fired their coach.
well, we'll get to that, you know. But let's talk about why they fired the coach first off, right? The way they played that game on Saturday is like almost like a complete opposite of how they played the game 5 at the Garden. Like, I don't even know what to tell you. It just looked like they were almost lazy at times, chucking up threes again. Like, I don't understand. You're not the Celtics and or the Pacers that just hit an ungodly amount of threes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you got past the Celtics, but then don't get past the Pacers. The fact of the matter is, the Pacers. Oh, what's going on there?
Had a little dust up pregame.
The Pacers were just a better team in the sense that they've been together for a while now, and they played better as a team. Whereas the Knicks, you know, it's still really their first season for a lot of them to be together, and you know, whatever. I just got more and more increasingly frustrated with Cat and all the stupid fucking fouls every game, and it's just annoying as shit.
I'll tell you this. The reason why the Knicks got bounced was the same reason they bounced the Celtics. The Celtics were chucking up threes all the time, and their percentage was terrible for the most part. The only time they were any good was the games that they won.
Yeah, well, I think it's probably, you know, I mean, it's hard to say, and they are professionals, but you could see where the Celtics probably thought that they were going to breeze through through the Knicks, and you know, the Knicks. The one thing about the Knicks is that they just don't give up, right? They don't stop. At least in that series, they never stopped fighting.
No
matter how much they were down. But the Pacers just played better as a team, plain and simple. The Knicks didn't play that series well as a team.
And I know a lot of the guys on the radio call Brunson the King of New York, but we might have to take that away from him now at this point, because particularly in that series,
well,
he didn't really have a good series.
I think the thing with him is it just seems like he gets to a point in the game where he just decides he has to do it all himself, and that's where it gets a little crazy, because he gets double teamed, triple teamed, and I think just because they were down, and they were always down, and they were always trying to fight back, they were just doing stupid shit and trying to force fouls, and it just got very sloppy looking.
Forcing a lot of passes too. Like they were turning over the ball a lot in the last game. It just seemed like they kept it close for the first half, and then you could see like it was just a struggle, right? Just to get back into it or whatever like that. Like they would almost like tie the game or be down by 1 or 2, and then the Pacers would go on a run.
Go up by like 5 or 6, and then start getting a little.
The fact of the matter is when you got your best 2 players on your team that play no defense, you're not going to win. And Cat and Brunson don't play defense, and you just can't win like that.
So I guess basically because of that now, yesterday the coach got fired.
Well, I mean, it depends who you listen to, but a lot of guys are thinking that, you know, they say it feels like it's mostly player driven. I mean, really, if you think about it, they had back-to-back 50-win seasons, which they haven't had in forever. So, I mean, depending on who you listen to, but there are guys out there that think that it's more the players that force their hand than anything else. But
I did hear that this is the first time they had like the end of the season meetings, and they actually included the players. So you might not be wrong with it being player driven per se.
Yeah.
Maybe they just.
Listen, the fact of the matter is, it's like anything else, and you look around all sports, but in particular basketball, the coaches are all getting younger and younger. And Thibodeau is not a young guy, so
No.
it's time, I guess, that they're looking to make that change and go the younger routes.
Well, I guess that's the only thing they can do right now, because if you look around, like I always said this with the Yankees, with Aaron Boone, like who else would you replace him with that would be, in your eyes, better, right? So it's like same thing with the Knicks. Like you're firing Thibodeau, right? But who are you going to get that would bring the Knicks to that next level? Because there's only one more step after this at this point. They got to get to the finals, and you got to win it.
Yeah, but I don't. That's the thing. I don't think it's the coach that they're necessarily depending on being the factor that takes you to the next level. I don't know, but the talk that I've been hearing, that everybody, a bunch of people seem to think is it's going to be definitely this guy Johnny Bryant, who used to be a Knicks assistant coach, associate coach, that's been working with Cleveland, I guess, the last couple of years, who's supposed to be really good. So that's what a lot of people are thinking it's going to be.
And do we think there's going to be any major tinkering of the roster at all?
I don't know. I don't know how much flexibility they have in that manner. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't mind seeing them finding a way to trade Cat at this point. You know.
So you don't think he's going to work out as far as for the
Well,
Knicks?
he could. It's just that, you know, again, it's just going to be hard. You can't have your best two players not play defense. It's never going to work. It's never going to work.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like if they get a deeper bench.
I was talking to somebody yesterday who said they heard this, and when they looked into it was accurate and it made a ton of sense. They said if you look through the history of the NBA, and any team that has had a point guard that did not play defense, they've never been successful other than the Warriors with Steph Curry.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is pretty interesting. And I guess that the only reason why the Warriors won is because he's a shooting machine where he's
Yeah,
making
and
all
they
those
just
shots.
outscored everybody.
Yeah. So
Which in essence is why Indiana's been successul and able to win, because they just outscored everybody, you know, and you know, because it's not like they played great defense, although they did play better team defense than the Knicks, but it's not like they had some great defense. It's just that they outscored them, and the games that they couldn't shoot, they lost.
yeah, you're 100% right. It was, I guess it's eerily similar to the Boston Celtics series. It's just they shot enough, like a better enough, you know, more enough than to win the series. But yeah, it was a shame. I mean, overall, I would say it was a successful season, right?
Yeah.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, I mean, it was tough because, look, I felt like any time the Knicks touched the Pacers, it was a foul. Karl Anthony Towns obviously was trying to drive to the basket a lot, never got any calls. Do I think a lot of it was his fault? Yes, because of all the stupid fucking fouls he was committing. Now, in return, if I was a ref, I'd be like, screw you, I'm not going to give you the call because you're a moron. So I think a lot of it was their own fault. And then they get to the point where they're behind and they know that they're in desperation mode because they're down 3-1, that they're just going crazy and taking stupid shots and trying to force fouls. And when you're forcing fouls every trip down the court, you're not going to get the calls.
I feel like a big thing that needs to change for them over the summer and into next season, whoever the coach is they better figure out how to hit like 80 to 90% of their free throws.
Well, and that's weird too, because it's like some game, like during the season, they were like the best team in the league.
Were they?
Yeah, especially with Robinson being out for so long. the last couple of years they've been very good as a team shooting free throws.
Really?
It was just so a lot of it had to do with Robinson being back, and he's obviously just can't shoot free throws. But they need to make some changes. They need to. I think Josh Hart should be sixth man of the year every year. He should not be starting. He should be coming off the bench, playing big minutes, but coming off the bench and being the sixth man of the year. I think they got to find a way to get Bridges more into it, because obviously he's a great defender, and I think the more of a focal point that he is, the better he's going to be all around.
Well, you kind of have to get him involved. You spend so much on him. No, I'm not talking money wise. I'm talking about the draft picks. They gave 5 first-round draft picks.
OG too. I mean, when it's all said and done, overall, all around, OG is definitely the best player on that team.
Really?
Yeah. Because he can play defense, he can score, he can.
Well, he didn't play much like it in either one of those really series. I mean, at the last game he played better, but
yeah, because the problem is that you got Brunson who gets to the point where if they're down in the game, he's going to force every shot, and he's going to feel like he needs to take every shot. And then whatever he's not taking, you're getting Cat to take. So there's not enough shots to go around for everyone.
Yeah, I guess you're right. What do you think, Wander?
Yeah, it was tough, watching Saturday as it kind of, was moving towards the end. I thought maybe they would just play a little harder. But again, like Ernie had mentioned, when they're down 2 defenders just to start, not ideal. But I think they definitely overachieved this season. Again, kind of shocked by the Tibbs firing, but maybe they do want to go in a younger direction. But yeah, as far as what's going to happen with the team, I definitely agree that they should try and get Bridges more of a defined role. Because he's a great defender.
Yeah, I mean, up and down the roster, they're much more talented than many teams. They were more talented than Indiana.
Yeah, they're favored too.
It's just that Indiana played better as a team.
Correct.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
I really think that whatever coach you bring in has to fit whatever roster you have. Like, you can't bring in a guy that wants to change everything up.
I think finally part of what caught up to him is the fact that, especially with this Indiana series, where there were games where he finally broke down and was using the bench a lot, and there were those times where Brunson would be on the bench for 15 minutes and they actually would look great. So I think with that, and then the fact that it just finally caught up to him, the fact that playing, the 5-man roster and not using the bench caught up to him a bit. Because, if you get to the point where you got a guy like Hart coming off the bench and Mitchell Robinson coming off the bench, like if they would have had Hartenstein still this year and you had Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson splitting time every game, it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah, you're probably not wrong. I would like to see next year Jalen Brunson take a step forward a little bit more. Like, I know he was great all year, and even in the playoffs for the most part he was great. I heard a lot of guys talk about him not being aggressive enough when it mattered, and then when it didn't matter, be overly aggressive and not like.
No, I disagree. I think he's gets to a point where he's just too aggressive,
right?
And he's forcing too many things, and it gets to a point, like I said, where they know they're not stupid. They could see that you're trying to force these calls. They're not going to give them to you.
Yeah.
They're not going to give them to you. Listen, offensively, you don't have to worry about it because the guy is just lights out, and when he's on fire, he's totally lights out. The guy has got heart. He's nothing scares him. The moment doesn't scare him. The place doesn't scare him. He's definitely what you want on your team. It's just that, unfortunately doesn't play any defense, And you can't have 40% of your starting lineup and your two best players that can't play defense.
I think you're right about Hart being the sixth man. If you're able to get another guy in here, whether or not you trade Cat or whatever and make your team more well-rounded, and maybe get another guy like Anunoby that can score and play defense, and
I
you can
don't,
put
I
Hart
don't
on the
think they
bench.
need a scorer. I think they need guys who can play defense and disrupt things at this point. Like for example, and when needed, can score. Like for example, look at oh Jesus Christ! Now he's escaping my mind. But the big man from Detroit, Duran, the young guy. That guy would be amazing on the Knicks. Turner on the Pacers, the big man. When he needs to, he could score lights out, but defensively, he's a monster, just disrupting everything. That's what they need.
Seems like he could hit a three too, right?
Yeah.
It seemed like everyone on the Pacers could hit a damn three. There were like weird stretches where they would just come down and hit like three after three after three after three, and you're not gonna.
Unfortunately, that's the game now. And to be honest with you, I think that sucks.
Yeah.
Because it's just, what is there to running down the court, stopping at the 3-point line and chucking up a shot? There's nothing to it. It's not like it was in the 90s. And that's why you got to the point where you were appreciating what you were seeing at times with Cat when he was driving and driving and driving and driving. Because what are you doing? One, you're putting the team potentially in foul trouble, and two, you're just wearing them down. Because trust me, to play defense and get banged around like that, it's not going to be as easy to run down the court and chuck up these threes. So it was nice to see. It's just like
He's hit or miss, right?
What were they making fun of him throughout the series, saying he looked like the blow up stick figure guys outside here.
Waving his hand.
And that's what he looked like, man. He
Yeah.
was like out of control, coming down every.
Yeah, he looked bad a lot. Like I appreciate him driving the lane because you don't see that much. And I won't even speak on the couple of things that you said, but another thing that sticks out to me is if you're in control doing that, like you don't have to actually go to the actual basket. You could kick it out to the open man, and then you create an easier shot for somebody.
But as far as the game today goes, when it comes to big man driving and scoring at the hoop, there's nobody better than him.
No, of course not. But that's why I don't necessarily think you got to get rid of him.
No, you don't have to get rid of him. And listen, obviously it'd be very hard, but if you're telling me that you can trade him to a team who's going to give you something decent, I would. You need guys that can play all around. That's the thing.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is as long as those two guys are on the team and they're your two biggest players and they're two of your starters and they're not playing any defense, you're never going to win.
No, you're probably right. Any last thoughts on the Knicks from anybody before we move it along? Excellent. So the baseball world has been kind of interesting recently, right? I don't know if you guys noticed, but they have a new leader in the home runs. The guy from Seattle, Ray or something his name.
Yeah,
Riley,
the catcher.
Yeah, the catcher.
He set a record for catchers, right?
He did.
And he's on pace to break the all-time record for home runs by a catcher, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That, and also technically right now on pace to beat Aaron Judge's record that he just broke a couple years ago with this 62 home run mark. But that's going to sink.
He's on pace for that?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He was on pace for it.
That won't happen.
No, that's what I mean. I checked it, what's today, Wednesday? I think I checked it Monday. I think that's when he hit 23.
He's been around a while already, this guy. But has he always been a power hitter, or is this an anomaly?
No, I think he always has been like home run or nothing type of guy.
Now this year, he's slightly a little bit better than home run or nothing. Now it's like a home run, maybe a couple hits. Yeah, because he's only hitting, I think he's hitting like 240 or something like that. So he's not, but like if you're comparing him to Aaron Judge only because he has 2 more home runs at the moment, like you could get Aaron Judge in a week and he hits 10 home runs, like,
Right.
and then all of a sudden now you're talking about
Right, but Aaron Judge is hitting 400.
100%. Well, that's what I was getting to. Right now he's hitting a robust 391, and he's slumping. And he just made him and Ohtani made Players of the Month, and Ohtani had slightly better numbers power wise than Judge, but Judge still hit 11 home runs, where I think Ohtani hit 15. He still hit 11 in the month. And he was hitting 337 for May. So, like, some people would consider that a slump right now, but he's still hitting over 300. And even with that batting average for May, he's still hitting 100 points more than Raleigh, I guess you call him? Raleigh, whatever. But to me, strange to be thinking that you could call him an MVP right now, like the front runner MVP over Aaron Judge, who's hitting over 100 points higher than him, way over 100 points higher than him.
Well, is anybody calling him?
Yeah, I heard. The reason why I brought it up is because just earlier today I was watching. It was ESPN. Oh no, I'm sorry, the MLB Network, and you had Harold Reynolds and those other knuckleheads talking about it, and Harold Reynolds was the smartest guy in the room, because he's like, I still have Aaron Judge right now as my MVP, but he's like, Raleigh is making a case right now, and the other guy's like, well, he's a catcher, he's playing every game. I'm like,
we're Yankee haters, so of course we're gonna say that.
I'm like, listen, in order for me to pick anyone over Aaron Judge, if it ended today, and let's say this was all the season was 60 games or whatever, and it ended today, in order for you to surpass Judge or even Ohtani at this point, because Ohtani has 22 home runs. Like, they're all neck and neck right now for the home run lead. And it's still early, because like I said, you get a month that Ohtani had with 15 home runs. If Judge does that in June, then he runs away with it, and we're not having this discussion in September.
And what's Cal's on base and OPS compared to Judge?
So I saw the numbers. I really wish I would have took a picture of it on Instagram. You can't always be accurate with that stuff, but it looked legit because it was one of those like MLB pages.
Uh-huh.
The only thing that he had over Judge was the home runs, and he's got him by 2. So, like, for me, in order for him to even be close to Aaron Judge, saying that they stayed the same, is he has to get his batting average over 300, which at this point is almost nearly impossible, because you got to get 60 points, which at this point, I don't know if you guys know, but after you think, I think you get over 150 at bats, your batting average goes up 2, down 1 for every hit or non-hit, right? Yeah. So they're all well past that now. So any like hot streak that you have would have to be phenomenal in order to gain 60 points.
And don't forget, you still have to take into account what the team's doing.
Right.
What's Seattle's record looking like?
I'll tell you in a second, but for me, they're decent now. Yeah, they're in second place in the West. They're 32-27. They're half a game out of first, which the Astros have the lead by a half a game. And to me, yeah, they're going to hang around. But to be fair, the Mariners are notorious for slumping towards the end of the season. Like in the late months of the summer, August, September. So it's nice that they're talking about this catcher. It's a good story. But to compare him to Aaron Judge, who's literally out hitting everybody on this planet. Like, he's slumping and he's hitting 391. Slumping. And I don't even really, obviously, I'm joking around. I don't even consider him slumping at the moment. But yeah, like, they're not really pitching to him either.
When you're talking about a guy who's having one of the best years thus far in the history of the sport,
The fact that it's June 4th? And
he's batting 400.
He's close to 400. Like, if he keeps this pace up a little bit, like he stays in the 380s or whatever.
And in the running for a triple crown.
Right. Yeah. And the funny thing is, too, he doesn't have I'm going to get to the stats because I want to be super accurate as possible. RBI. So Devers has 54 and Judge has 50. Okay? And there's 2 guys, both Cubs, that are in between Suzuki and Crow Armstrong, who was with the Mets a couple years ago. Right. He's having a good season. They have 53 and 51 respectively, right? So he's right there in RBIs, right? Then you got the home runs. There's now 2 people tied with 23, Ohtani and Raleigh. And then you got Judge right behind him with 21. Schwarber right back behind him at 19. So it's not like Judge has 10 home runs and he's hitting 390. Even though if he was, I'd be fine with it as long as he's knocking players in, which he is. He's on pace for 150 RBIs, which is more than last year when he had 58 home runs. That's amazing to me. And every year since 2022, you think he's going to not do it, break down. He's getting better, which is weird as he's getting older. I mean, I think he's 32? He's either 31 or 32 right now.
Right.
So he's still he's on the back end of the prime of his game.
Right.
But he's changing his game. I think, did we talk about this last week with him on his approach and at-bats? I think we did. Yeah, I think we did. I'm not even going to talk about it. But the way he's approaching most of his at-bats now are insane to me when you watch him.
Yeah, because, I mean, just think about it. As great of a year as he had last year, he started out slow. This year, he's been on fire since the start of the season. So what does that mean? I mean, if he continues and keeps it up, it's going to be just a historical season.
Yeah. And it's weird. I was diving into some little things. I don't know if you guys knew, but on Monday it was Lou Gehrig's day.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Since the Yankees were off, they were playing the Dodgers over the weekend. They had the patches on their jerseys, which I think it's really cool. And May 29th is also Lou Gehrig's day. It's just they celebrate it on the 2nd because that's when he wound up passing away. To me, I was looking at some of his stats and
forget it.
Geez,
Makes it sick looking at those.
He had 3 seasons out of I think he played 15 years, but 3 seasons RBI totals are in the top 5 ever, at 184 and 173 twice. Can you imagine 184 RBIs right now? Like, you got guys hitting 50 something bombs and they get 120.
And in less games.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that guy was a hit machine.
I mean, again, it's in a sense comparing apples to oranges because pitchers were throwing 100 miles an hour and, all the different pitches that these guys are throwing nowadays.
Don't get me started on that, by the way, but go ahead.
Yeah, but it's like anything else. It's all relative. But still, yes, you're right. Because if it was that easy, everybody would have been doing it.
Correct.
And they weren't.
Right. And I get it. Like the league back then, there weren't teams. And you could throw a whole bunch of variables.
But if that was the case, then every single player would have had 100 RBIs.
Right.
They didn't.
But just the fact that you're putting up numbers like that just says what a pure hitter you were.
Right.
And that's what you kind of want to have nowadays in this day and age. And I think if you had a guy like that, it'd be even better with the type of pitching they have now.
And that's what Judge essentially has been doing this year.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the fact that he's not trying to kill the ball and still has 21 home runs is amazing. And I don't care if you want to say...
Which proves you don't have to try to kill the ball.
Correct. And sometimes hard contact. And that's the only new stat that I actually like. All this WAR nonsense and all these analytics, you could throw them in the garbage. But that one that I really like is the hard hit rate. Because more often than not, if you hit the ball hard, good things are going to happen. Either people are going to make mistakes or you're going to find a hole. There's not all the time you're going to hit directly at somebody. And I fell in love with that stat because of DJ LeMahieu, because I forget what year it was. Maybe it was 2022 or it had to be 2022, where he got off to a really bad start, but he was slapping the ball hard. And his hit rate was high, like his hard hit rate, and he was just unlucky. But then it turned around. Like, that's the percentage I like. Like, if you stay on top of it and hitting the ball hard, eventually it's going to work in your favor after a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they played the Dodgers over the weekend. Listen, am I surprised that we lost 2 out of 3 of the Dodgers? No. I'm glad we we won the last game. I got to tell you, I'm disappointed in the first game. The second game, it is what it is. They got blown out. I had a feeling that Warren was not going to be able to pitch to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
I just had that feeling. That's why I really wanted game one.
What killed you, right?
Yeah, well, that's what was alluding to is game one. We had our ace on the mound, and listen, I think that was his 12th start, if I'm not mistaken, and all the other 11 were amazing. And it's not like he pitched against the Rockies every time or whatever. He was lights out, so he was due to like not have a good start. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't be against the Dodgers because the funny thing is we came out mashing. We hit 4 home runs in the first, like I think it was 2 or 3 innings, and we were winning 5-2. And then the wheels fell off with Fried, and he gave up a bunch of hits. And even when they took him out, I think it was the 5th inning. I don't think the game was tied yet. Loizaga came in, and he couldn't shut it down like he normally does. And I know he's still just getting back, but since he's been back, he was pitching great. And he just didn't have it against the Dodgers either. And they stole that game from us like they almost stole the first game of the World Series. I was having like mini flashbacks of the first game of the World Series.
Yeah.
And I knew then and there like we just weren't going to win the series. I just wanted to win one away because on that West Coast road trip we were 10-5. So that's a good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, against good teams. Like we played the Dodgers, we played the Angels. We played the Athletics. We played. Who else do we play? Well, we played the Rockies, so they were the worst team that they played. But when I was watching the Angels games last week, the Angels are a decent ball club right now.
Well, especially the way that Trout's been playing since he came back.
Yeah, and they didn't have Trout when we played him. Thank God, because he came back on fire. They went into Boston and they hit 3 home runs in the first inning, which never happened in Boston before.
Yeah. What did he get? 455 foot.
Yeah, went over the big monster and out onto the street. So
how about our boy Rodon, man?
Oof.
That guy has freaking been lights out.
And you know what I like about it? He saved our ass on Sunday again, on yesterday with the Cleveland Guardians. You know what I mean? And that was a really big game. The first game of the homestand after losing a couple to the Dodgers, and he's been lights out. Last 4 games, he's pitched to a .72 ERA.
Like they said, what do we got? It's June 4th, and we have 2 pitchers with 8 and 7 wins. It's crazy.
Insane. Like, they actually have a legitimate chance of both getting 20 wins if they keep this kind of pace up, which is insane to me. And can you imagine if we had Garrett Cole in the mix?
Oh, my God.
Like, and I get it, like, you know, it might not work out the same way, but if you're ever waiting to get Garrett Cole back for next year, God, like, these guys, we kind of knew Max Fried was going to be like this as long as, knock on wood, he stays healthy, like he's been doing it. Rodon has been like the flip of a coin kind of guy. Like,
right.
You know, like.
You're Jekyll and Hyde.
Right, but not this year. I mean, his first 3 starts were bad.
First couple of starts, yes, but since then it's been crazy.
Yeah, and I feel
It's all
like
about the beard, I think, bro.
it might be. Literally, it might be because he had the mustache last year and it didn't really work out until like some of the playoff games.
It's the beard.
But he must love the beard. Like he's got this.
The beard soaking up all the body sweat.
And I'll tell you this. Like, he just looks overly confident on that mound. Like, he's just going to throw it by.
Yeah.
He's leading in the last month in strikeouts for the MLB. I think he's like 3rd or 4th in strikeouts for the season.
That's what it is for him. If he's in that right headspace, he's gonna do the right thing.
And you know what's even funnier? I got even another guy that's been really impressive since he took over the starting role when somebody else went down. I can't remember who it was that he took the place of, but Yarborough.
Oh yeah,
He shut the Dodgers down.
He came in when they first sent down Carrasco, right?
Yes, you're right. They said that. That's 100% right. And
and he's the ex-Dodger, right?
yes,
So how nice is that?
yep, 100%. And he's been impressive. He's hit just above a 2 ERA while he's starting, and now he's giving him length because they were only using him for like
Right.
4 to like get into the 5th, and then once he gets into like trouble, they yank him.
Yeah.
He went 6 strong innings, which is what I like to see. Give me 6 from the guys that are on the back end of the rotation. I'll take that every day of the week. And he held them to, I think it was 1 or 2 runs on Sunday. which was fantastic for that Dodger lineup. Because you look at that Dodger lineup and, like, I get it. You look at the standings and they don't have an overwhelming lead in the West. And I think we talked about this last week. Like, that NL West is kind of wild.
Weird because they both started lights out, them in San Diego, and now all of a sudden it's like they're not even close to having the best record in baseball.
No, I know. But you look at that West is wacky because obviously besides the Rockies, which congratulations to the Rockies for winning their first series over the weekend. They beat the Marlins, so very nice to them. Congratulations. Let's see if they could win some more games and not be the worst team ever in baseball, and we can hold that to the White Sox for at least another year.
How crazy would that be that it happens in consecutive years, right?
It would be insane.
It just happened last year.
The White Sox was last year, and they lost 121 games. So, I mean, these guys are well on their way for eclipsing that, but hopefully something could work out. Because when I was watching both the Mets, because the Mets just played them recently too, right? We're gonna talk about them in a second. And the Yankees the Rockies don't seem that bad. They just can't hit with runners in scoring position.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I noticed from both the Met games and the Yankee games that I got. It's a little small sample size of just like 6 games, but you could see they get guys on base. They get guys to second with less than 2 outs. And then it's just, strike one, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3.
It's the equivalent of not being able to play defense in basketball.
Right. You're 100% right.
You can't get guys in running and scoring position and not bring them in.
Especially with less than 2 outs. Like that, to be a champion, you got to get those easy runs in. And listen, not a lot of teams in baseball can do it. Don't get me wrong. I think over the course of the whole baseball season and all of MLB, a lot of teams struggle with that. Because
they won a series.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. That was their first series win against the Marlins.
Wow.
And I think they were on the road too, which is even more impressive. But to be fair, the really good teams are able to do that more often than not, and that's what you need to do. Runners in scoring position with less than 2 outs, you got to figure out a way to get those guys in. And it pisses me off a lot of times when I see the Yankees. They don't do it. Obviously, they're a lot better this year than they were in previous years. So I kind of give them a little bit of a break. I know I'm getting a little off tangent here because we're talking about the NL West, and I'll get back to it. But I just went on to this little rant with the Yankees. But they're tops in the league in runs. I think the only one that's beating them, and it's only by a couple, is the Cubs right now. But that might have changed over the weekend. Like, I didn't check over the weekend. I know that the Yankees didn't score a ton of runs to get the Dodgers. So they might still have it, but the Yankees on base percentages through the roof as a team. Like, all these numbers, they're hitting better team batting average wise than last year, and that was with Juan Soto last year.
Yeah.
And if you look at their averages, it's not overly impressive, to be fair.
But it's definitely more impressive than it was last year.
I'm glad you said it because that's what I was getting to. I'm like, there's still a bunch of guys that are hitting 200 and 220 and even 240. But if you look at them this year, especially the guys that I've been freaking yelling about the last couple of weeks, is the Wells and the Volpe and the Dominguez's, they've all brought their averages up a little bit, like 20, 30 points. Especially Dominguez. I think Dominguez jumped his average up 30 points. I want to say Volpe just 20, and even Wells, he's now over 200. I think he's around 210, 215. But yeah, and another bandit that I'm starting to like now who's been on fire is Cody Bellinger. Yeah. He's got his average to over 250 now.
Yeah. And forget it. If he catches fire.
And he did. He had a 15-game hitting streak snap recently.
Lights out.
And I love his swing, right? And we just got back Jazz, and he got 2 hits yesterday, playing third base. So I'm happy for him. He actually was interviewed before he came up. He was at I think it was Somerset or Scranton, one of those two, and they asked like, how do you feel about going back to third base? And as flashy and as arrogant he is at times with what he says via like Twitter or whatever, what he said, I couldn't have loved more. I don't know if you guys heard it, but he basically says like,
whatever they need me to do.
Yeah, basically in a nutshell, he was just like, yeah, I'll play third base. They left it up to me, but I really don't care. I'll play third base. I'm not here to
How
pick.
do you not root for a guy like that? Like,
Yeah.
even yesterday, after he hit the home run, I don't know if you saw when he hit the home run and he came back to the dugout. I don't know who the coach was that was in the dugout. I don't know if that was the hitting coach or not. But just the way he was like hugging all up on him and putting his head in his shoulder, and like, how do you that's what you need in every bench and locker room, like a guy that's just gonna lift everybody's spirits. And is, how do you not root for a guy like that?
Yeah, he was amazing. He said he basically didn't care where he played, and all he's here. He's got the best player in all of baseball on his team. He's like, I'm not going to complain. I just want to play whatever position. I just want a ring. Now, when I hear that, I'm going to give you as much leeway as I can. Now, granted, do I want him to be hitting over 200? Yes. I think hopefully he'll get there, and hopefully over this homestand. It's good that they brought him back for the homestand as opposed to on the road. I think that'll be uplifting for the crowd, and they'll help each other out with that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I lost my train of thought with the NL West, but there's 4 really good teams there. I can't believe the Diamondbacks are under 500, by the way. They're 29-31, that's a little weird. But those 4 teams, the NL West is wacky, where you could get all those teams in the playoff, or you're only going to get the 1 or 2, and then that's it. Because
How about the Tigers with the best record in baseball? Huh?
first to 40 wins, so that's impressive. But to be fair,
Starting where they left off. Yeah.
right? And how good is their pitching?
Yeah, what's his name? Screwball.
Yeah.
What did he pitch, a no-hitter last week or something like that?
Something like that. But it's not just him either. It's the other guys in that rotation, because you ain't winning those games without those other guys. And, they're right up there with the Yankees in run differential and all that stuff. And listen, the Yankees are not too far behind them. So I don't need the best record in baseball. I would like it for the playoffs, but just play well. That's what I want.
Listen, when it's all said and done, we haven't had much to complain about this year. And that's with our ace going down before the season started, Stanton being out, Chaz going down. We really haven't had much to complain about.
3/4 of our rotation went down.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that. Hill and Schmidt were on there.
Right.
I know he hasn't done much. Stroman's on there.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
But these are all pitchers that, depending, and you know what's funny? I'm glad I mentioned Stroman too. He's the exact opposite of Jazz, right? The guy complains about this, that, and the other thing, and then, obviously we were trying to trade him. There was no bites on that, whatever. But maybe if he gets back and he has a bullpen role, maybe he'll humble himself, because without Garrett Cole this year, it's gonna take literally everybody to be on their game. You know what I mean?
And as much as it sucks that what's his face is down now. Oh God.
Luke Weaver.
I think this is could be a blessing in disguise, because maybe this is what gets
Williams going.
Williams back on track, back in the groove of things.
Well, he almost had me shit my pants last night, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
I was happy.
And it seems like Luke Weaver's not as bad as it might have first
thought.
Right.
But he's still going to probably need a month. Especially with a pitcher with a hamstring, I'm not going to test you. I'm not going to test you for a month. Rest, let's see how it goes. Do the physical therapy, whatever you got to do, and that's it.
No, I didn't get to hear much, but I heard a bunch of them talking on the way home today a lot about Stanton. What's going on with Stanton?
I missed that because I wanted to hear that, and I think I got out of the car right when they were talking about it. But there's apparently big news on him coming back soon, which is great. I love my dad. My dad literally hates Giancarlo Stanton. I told him I was there with you, but after the last 3 years in the playoffs,
how can you?
I can't do it anymore. Giancarlo Stanton's my man, and he will stay my man until he retires, or at least until he doesn't hit in the playoffs anymore.
And what's he going to do? He's going to be DHing anyways.
Right. So, and I know I was trying to get to the Mets, but Ben Rice too. What are you going to do with him now? Are you going to have him catch sometimes? Are you going to, you know what I mean? You're going to have him play first base? You got to get his bat in that lineup, because he showed that he bulked up and he's hitting the baseball.
Well, it's funny that you say that too, because there was one thing I did hear on the way here tonight was that they would, again, it's like they were talking about, oh, when DeGrom was a Met, he would always shag fly balls in the outfield. So you can't really take everything with a great, you got to take it with a grain of salt. But they were talking about how Goldschmidt was taking grounders at second. So they're like, oh, what's that all about? So,
Interesting.
Going with that, what you're saying, is John Carlo coming back, gonna be DHing, and Ben Rice is gonna be playing first base, and Goldie's gonna be playing second.
Hey, listen, whatever you got to do, guys, right? I don't care. As long as you don't look foolish doing it, I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you obviously, whatever the case may be, you gotta bring him back staying slowly anyways, and,
Yeah, he's not going to play every day.
and see what he's looking like, but, it'll be nice to see him again.
Of course. Now let's wander. Let's get to the Mets. I know you've been killing it. Start us off with the Mets over the weekend, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I didn't watch a whole lot. I did see that they swept Colorado, which, anytime you can beat the worst team in the league, it's expected, I guess.
Especially sweep.
Right.
Go ahead.
But yeah, I haven't really been paying much attention to the last series. I know they did win the first game. They lost last night. I'm not sure. Do they play tonight? I'm not sure.
They do. They lost yesterday in extra innings too, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, another Freddie
Competitive.
Freeman special. I think it was I want to say it was a double, but it was really a single to walk it off because he didn't, obviously didn't go to second base. They didn't need to. It looks like Juan Soto's finally heating up.
Yeah.
He's been on fire for the last bunch of games. I think he's hit 3 home runs in 4 games or something like that, which is nice to see. His batting average is still kind of in the toilet, but if there's one guy that could bring that up 40 to 50 points, I think it's him.
Right.
And to be fair for the Mets, the fact that they're sitting in first place right now with 38 wins without a good Juan Soto, that's impressive to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I know Pete Alonso his batting average is dipping. Let's hope it doesn't dip much further. I think he's batting like in the 280s right now. I'd like to see him keep that up if I'm the Mets. He does have 48 RBIs, which is good, and I think he's got 12 or 13 home runs. So he's right on pace for his normal 30 to 40 something home runs a year.
Right.
But yeah, the Mets are pretty much clicking. You don't really have much to complain about them either.
Nope.
Their starting rotation, where everyone thought was a joke, I know we certainly did going into the season, has been holding strong.
Yeah.
I know we talked about that last week too, or how long is that going to last? But with Senga being the ace and healthy, it looks like it could only get better with Minaya coming back. He's throwing, which is great. Yeah, I mean, what else you got to say? Listen, you're going to lose to the Dodgers and good teams in extra innings at times.
It's and taking 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers when they weren't really hitting is, that's positive too.
Oh, of course. And I think they got one more game with them tonight. Yeah. So, they still can get the series win if they win tonight, which is good. We'll see what they do tonight. It's a late game, so it's a 10-10 game. Hopefully I can watch a little bit of it. But yeah, I mean, the baseball's doing really good right now. You know what I mean? Besides a little hitch here and there,
Baseball in New York, yeah.
Yeah, it's good and it's competitive, and we're not too far away from the other Subway Series. It's less than a month away right now. It starts on July 4th, so that's going to be fun too. Yeah.
Post Nathan's
Yeah,
contest.
there you go. But yeah, so I ain't got nothing else. I like where the Mets are sitting pretty at. I like where the Yankees are at. They're going to be battling. The thing about the Mets is they got to keep winning, and they can't go into an extended losing streak. That's all they have to do all season, and they should win that
They haven't
division.
lost 3 in a row, right?
No, they haven't. So
This year.
So I think the most they've lost is 2 in a row, and then that's it. But the Phillies are gonna be on their ass. It looks like
how far back are they? Like a game or two?
they're like a half a game.
Half a game.
You know what I mean? And I don't know, like the Braves are 10 games back, but they're 27-32. They might start to make a run too. So you still got to worry about that division. Other than that,
I think I heard the other day that the Braves are still like minus money to win the division, if I'm not mistaken.
minus money, really?
Yeah, I heard
Wow.
something about Braves and minus 145. I don't know if it was to make the playoffs or to win the division or what it was.
Maybe it was to make the playoffs, but I mean, listen, it's a 10-game lead right now. They're back, so I mean, it could be done. It's still early, but you know, could it be? I don't know. Couple little interesting facts before we end this baseball conversation. Did you guys know that MLB is breaking ground in Pelham Bay Park to build a scaled replica of the Polo Grounds?
Yes, I did.
Did you hear that? I saved the picture.
For like one game a year or something?
Yeah, it's going to be like, you know how they had the Field of Dreams
Right.
and everything like that? They're building this in Pelham Bay Park just to have like an MLB game there every year. Just one.
What?
Yeah. They're building an exact replica of the Polo Grounds.
Tax dollars good at work.
Yep.
Fucking bastards.
Well, maybe MLB's flipping the bill. You don't know.
Doubt it. We're flipping the bill.
Maybe you guys, because by the time they're done, I might be out of here. But anyway, another fun stat. Who do you think has the best record against team over 500 to date right now?
This season,
This season.
the best record with
Going against teams over 500.
Detroit.
No.
Padres?
No. Anyone else want to take a wild guess? It's our very own New York Yankees, just saying.
There you go.
There you go. 21
That
and
was
13.
the logical choice, but obviously.
And they're also at the top. They're tied with the Tigers at run differential at plus 98. That might have changed because that was as of Monday. So there might be a little difference there now. But after that, and that's it. That's all I got for baseball. I saw those stats and I thought those are kind of nice little things to throw out there to let people know about. What have we been watching? Ernie, you haven't been with us for a while. Please tell me you got some good stuff that you were watching.
Mobland.
Is it over?
I don't know. I only.
Yes.
It is over?
It's over.
'Cause,
Okay.
was it 9 episodes?
10.
Oh, see, that's the thing. When I go to look it up on cable, it's only up to 9.
Oh,
So
really?
I guess the new one didn't drop.
No,
Yeah,
it's
there's
10.
something.
And you need to start watching that tonight.
Okay. All right.
That show is just bonkers. And I don't know if we ever discussed it, but it's a Guy Ritchie show.
Yes, I think we did say. I think we said that like weeks or if not months ago when it first came out. Great, right?
Yeah.
He's the same guy that did The Gentleman, right? That
Yeah.
show, The Gentleman.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a good show.
That was
I like
good.
that. I hope they come out with season 2 with that.
But start watching. I know you like to wait till it's done. Start watching it.
Yeah, if it's done, I can start watching it now,
And-
like tomorrow, basically.
Then the only other thing really is Your Friends and Neighbors.
That's
Apple
almost done
TV
too,
with
right?
John Hamm. I believe that's done too.
Okay, good,
I believe this last episode was the last one. Another very good show.
awesome. What do you got, Wanderer?
Last of Us is done. I still gotta watch the last Mobland. I finished. What do you call it? Gemstones.
Oh, Righteous
That was
Gemstones.
good.
Yeah.
It got a little dark. Got a little dark at the end.
Yeah,
did.
the last
I
season was kind of like, blah.
Yeah, it's blah.
Yeah,
Blah.
they had to end the show. You know they had to end the show, but
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to get that dark, but definitely still had some funny moments.
Yeah.
for sure.
That threw me for a loop too. I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like,
yeah.
what?
And then I started this new show on Netflix. It's like subtitles, so you're probably not going to be in.
Oh, yeah?
Although there may be a dubbed option, but it's what the heck is it? It's from Argentina. It's called Eternauts or something like that.
Oh, Eternauts or something like that?
Yeah.
I saw
I
that.
watched the first episode. It's pretty, I think it was only like 40 minutes long or something like that. And I'm definitely looking forward to getting into it.
It was good?
The first episode's good. It's like, like I guess like a horror / thriller or like, mystery type of
Are all
thing.
the episodes on Netflix already?
Yeah, I think that's how Netflix does it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, Netflix usually
Yeah.
does all their.
Well, sometimes they've been doing the part ones, like,
Well,
you know.
either way, at least
Yeah.
part one will be there completely.
Yeah.
Even if it's a split season.
Yeah. All right. Something that you might like that I watched the other day, and I only saw it because it was my man Paul O'Neill, and I probably should have said this earlier, but it's a TV show, The Story of Your Number. It's only a half hour. If you have Spectrum, well, you probably can still get it on the Fire Stick. It's
I've
on
heard
yes.
them mentioning it on the Yankee games.
I'm gonna watch the other ones. Like, not all of them. I don't know how many are out, but when I saw Paul O'Neill's show episode, I really enjoyed it. And like I said, it's not even a half hour because they have the commercials and everything. But it was really interesting. They throw a lot of numbers at you and everything like that. And maybe it was just because I like Paul O'Neill, but he was kind of funny because he knew none of his stats. Yeah, so to me, I'm like, okay, whatever. But it was
those are kind of the things that it's easy to get into, especially when you're watching one year guys.
Yeah, so that was good. I'd like to see the other ones. I finished The Last of Us. I literally did it over the week.
Wow, you crushed it. Yeah.
I crushed it. I had mixed reviews on it.
Okay.
It was okay. I kind of feel like it's like The Walking Dead, and I don't know if I said this before, but it's like The Walking Dead without, like, with like, obviously they're not zombies and they can be killed easier. Like, you don't have to shoot the zombie in the
I
head.
haven't watched it, but I can see that.
Yeah, but the thing with me is it's like The Walking Dead 8 seasons in. Like, you know how like The Walking Dead in the beginning was awesome, like the first 5, 6, maybe even 8 seasons, and then all of a sudden like they just keep either they got really boring or whatever. Like, to me, the second season of Last of Us was like at times certain episodes had like serious lulls in it. Like, what is going on here?
I could see that.
Yeah, so like to me it almost jumped, like even though it's the second season, it like jumped to like where it'd be like towards like the end of the series altogether.
I remember Devontae Adams signing with the Rams.
Oh, that was a while ago, dude. Jesus.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm like tired of what's his name, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, I am tired of that fucking guy.
Yeah, it's a shame too. He's in the Fantastic Four, which is probably gonna ruin that for me as well because that comes out next month.
I think that looks good.
Yeah.
Do you? I think it looks.
I need to see the movie. Like, I'm not overly excited with the trailer.
No?
I do like how Galactus looks, and I didn't really think they were going to show him in the trailer. But
They announced the popcorn thing today.
oh, did they?
Yeah.
Is it cool?
It's a Galactus head.
Oh, that's awesome. I got to try and get that. So that means I got to go there opening weekend or maybe even opening night. But yeah, like, I don't know how... I want to see it, and obviously it's in a couple weeks or like a month or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that it's better than I think it's going to be because for whatever reason, whoever does a Fantastic Four movie never gets it right. And the early reports on it is there's not really any character development, but they are very comic accurate. Like, there's a lot of stuff in there.
I mean, just the way it looks like a comic.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool how it, like, I guess, paid tribute to the art and style.
Mm-hmm. And they did that. Obviously, they did a lot of that on purpose, and like they wanted to be like the outfits accurate and all the other stuff accurate. So that hopefully it's a really good movie. Yeah, hopefully. Even though they went accurate, they decided to just make Silver Surfer a girl. Whatever, I don't know. But yeah.
I wasn't thrilled about that.
Yeah, me neither. I don't like, and it has nothing to do with anything. I don't like when you switch characters' genders for no reason. Like, if it was in the comics,
there's a reason why they're doing it, and that's why.
Right.
I think the movie's going to be shit because the same reason why they did that with the Silver Surfer is why Pedro Pascal is in the movie.
Right. Yeah. Before we wrap this up, Mickey 17 was a good movie.
Oh, you liked it?
Good movie. Did you see Mickey 17?
No.
Good movie.
I think it was one of those movies that I put on one night when I was like in bed trying to fall asleep, and I fell asleep.
You can't do that because I did the same thing, and I even told him that because I used the Fire Stick, and I started like within 20 minutes I was dozing. I was like, I can't watch it. But when he told me it was good, I actually watched it earlier, like one afternoon.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting here, and it was good. Like when you were paying attention, it was a good movie.
All right.
It's different,
All right.
so I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's cool. And you know, few old Marvel characters in there, so that was cool too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not like Marvel characters, the actors.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. But yeah. You got any music for us before we wrap this baby up and put it in a bow?
One pick as usual. This week we are going with Tunde Adebimpe with The Black Bolts. That's the pick for this week.
Awesome. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Everyone enjoy this nice summer weather that we've been having this whole week. Hopefully the rain doesn't spoil it for us at the end of the week. But yeah, that's all I got.
Stay hydrated.
Take care.
There you go. Enjoy, folks.